Your need for revenge is reasonable, considering what we did to your parents.
Well, hello there ladies and gentlemen, I'm Philanthropone and I am back with another brand new video here, this time to take a look at 10 upcoming HTC Vive games for spring and summer of 2018 that I think will definitely be worth checking out.
Your temple has been compromised. Your memories stolen.
With so many Vive games constantly coming out all the time, I thought it would be good to just filter out all the noise and go over those games that I think look most promising. I will also note that these games are not necessarily ranked in order, but I will let you know what some of my favorite ones are throughout the video. So without further ado, here are my picks for the top 10 upcoming HTC Vive games of spring and summer 2018. Number 10, budget cuts.
Welcome to Transcorp. We develop and refine space-time technology to perfection.
Believe it or not, Budget Cuts has resurrected from the dead, and after the devs having stayed quiet for around 2 years or so, the game is finally set to launch at the end of this month. Budget Cuts, if you don't know, is a game that revolves around stealth gameplay and had without a doubt the most popular demo available when the original Vive launched. Not only that, but it was actually the first game I ever played on a consumer-grade HTC Vive. Since then, several games have appeared to have gotten some inspiration from Budget Cuts, such as Cartong and Robo Heist. My advice, definitely keep this one on your radar as the hype level for this game has been building since day one and could raise the bar for stealth gameplay in VR. Number 9, The Last Day Defense. The Last Day Defense is a tower defense game that got me really excited when I first saw its trailer. The visuals look impressive, and it's about time we see a tower defense VR game that uses weapons that are more of this world with tanks and other real-world vehicles, as I've played plenty that are super far-fetched and unrealistic. Speaking of realism, the visuals look quite realistic as well, with lots of explosion and particle effects as the chaos happens. Luckily, we won't have to wait long to find out what The Last Day Defense has to offer, as it is set to launch on May 29th of this year. Can't wait. Number 8, Torn.
Okay, microphone is live and recording. What happened to this place?
This game is arguably the one I am most looking forward to, as I can't help but think of a certain VR game when watching its trailer, that being The Gallery. Namely because you appear to play as a young female protagonist who is out to solve the many mysteries inside a puzzle-infested mansion that once belonged to a scientist who has been missing for 64 years.
Lights, they have an effect on me. They seem to help me remember things. I'd very much like to know what's happened. I don't suppose you could bring some more to me.
And it looks like you get a gravity tool that you will use to solve puzzles, which will only make it feel that much more like the Gallery and its gauntlet. And I mean that in a very good way. Another good reason to be excited for this one is that one of the writers has actually done work on Tomb Raider and BioShock, along with music composed by a man named Gary Scheinman, who has also done music for BioShock, as well as Middle-earth: Shadow of War. Number 7, CHIARO and the ELIXIR of Life. In this upcoming Vive game, you explore a fantasy world filled with wonder and mystery, as the devs put it. This is one game that I am definitely most curious about, as the trailer has left me with many more questions than answers, the biggest being, why is there a disgruntled pig playing the piano?
Yes, yes.
Anyways, it looks like it's gearing up to be a story progression game where you appear to befriend a steam-powered robot duck, I want to say. I personally love the colorful art style that, like I said, is colorful but not cartoony. It definitely looks like it took some creative minds to come up with some of what I've seen in the trailer and in screenshots, so I'm definitely looking out for this one. Number 6, Carly and the REAPERMAN. This upcoming 2-player co-op VR game has a really cool concept. I actually did a video playing the demo with my brother, and it was a lot of fun. Basically, one person in VR plays as the REAPERMAN, while a PC player plays as Carly on a gamepad or mouse and keyboard as you work together to solve puzzles and get Carly to her desired destination. The REAPERMAN's main chore is to lay out platforms or blocks for Carly, and the game is just a breath of fresh air because almost all of the local VR games I have played usually involve PC players trying to fight a VR player, so it was a nice change to find one where the two of you actually work together. The game is set to launch on June 19th, 2018. Number 5. OVERDUTY VR Battle Royale. Not a whole lot is known about this upcoming multiplayer game, but the hype train has still left the station. The only other well-known VR Battle Royale game out there is Standout, which has improved since launch, but is still a pretty shaky experience when talking about performance, which is why many fans of the genre, including myself, are curious to see what OVERDUTY has to offer. After all, judging by the game's title, it's going to be a combination of Overwatch, Call of Duty, and a PUBG, right? I guess we'll have to wait and see, and the game also has its own Discord server if you want to keep up to date as far as the game's development goes, and I will say that this is the one game on the list that could be pushed back beyond a summer release date, but we'll have to see. Number 4, The Rig.
I'm not here because of us, Will, or anything we had. This is a job I'm giving you.
The Rig is an immersive story-driven space noir adventure developed exclusively for VR. Explore a fully interactive light freighter as you attempt to land, find your brother, and uncover a tightly woven mystery of murder and broken romance. So it says in the Steam description. I am always happy whenever I see new story-driven VR games that are non-wave shooters and have you progressing through changing environments as you appear to do so in The Rig. And after reading a little more into the game, I discovered that you play a man named Willard Pike, who is a Mars travel agent, and you have to unravel the drama surrounding your family through a chain of events leading up to the present day. And the game is fully voice acted, and there doesn't appear to be combat from what I can tell, and I think it's going to be a detective type of game with puzzles to be solved. Number 3. Downward Spiral Horus Station. This game is actually a follow-up to a prologue that came out over a year ago called Downward Spiral Prologue. It got pretty good reviews, and you can now get it on Steam for $1.99. Now, I never played the prologue because I wanted to wait for a more complete experience, and it looks like that's finally about to happen with the release of Horus Station. Now, this is another story-driven game in space, and what really got me excited for it is that you can actually do the story in 2-player co-op mode. And I've been wanting a really good, immersive, story-driven VR experience with another player in co-op for a long time now, so I really hope that this one delivers. You experience the game in zero gravity, and it looks like there is combat, so hopefully it's an action-packed game as well. Let's just hope that it's a smooth experience in co-op mode as far as being bug-free and non-motion sickness inducing. The game is still on course for a spring launch. Number 2. PAPERDOLLS. This is the one game on the list that I'm not even sure if I'm gonna play, but I gotta give credit where credit is due. Don't get me wrong, I have played VR horror games before, but if there was a certain type I were to avoid, it's usually psychological horror games with creepy ghost girls in near pitch black environments. But I must admit, the game looks impressive. It's got an eerie atmosphere, good looking visuals, and apparently has 15 hours of gameplay. The synopsis I read sounded like the story may have gotten some inspiration from Amnesia and Silent Hill, namely because the game has to do with your memory and waking up at a random place after losing consciousness. The setting takes place at a deserted ancient Chinese house, and the game supposedly has a special movement locomotion system that will make the game that much more immersive, so the devs say. Luckily, we won't have to wait long to find out, as the game is set to launch sometime this month. And the last game is Eye of the Temple. This is a really cool game because it makes use of your entire play space with absolutely no teleporting or free locomotion. It appears to be an Indiana Jones type of experience where you move around on moving platforms and use your whip for various tasks such as swatting pesky bugs or pulling levers to solve puzzles. You will also have a torch, it looks like, and there will also be traps to avoid using your body, and the Steam page also says that no buttons will be required when playing. The game will be available on the HTC Vive as well as Oculus Rift and Windows Mixed Reality, and the game's Steam page currently says that you will need a 2 meter by 2 meter space to play the game, so you don't need a huge amount of space thankfully for this one. Not much else is known about the game, but hopefully we won't have to wait long to find out. Alright, and there you have it. Those were my top 10 HTC Vive games that I am most looking forward to this spring and summer of 2018. As always guys, I'd appreciate it if you liked the video and let me know in the comments what VR games you're most looking forward to, not just in spring and summer, but for the rest of 2018. I'd love to hear. So that's all for this one. Thank you once again, as always. Until next time, peace.